The world of Twitch live streaming has been slowly falling apart for the last few years. The idea of a secondary platform coming in and giving a massive platform like Twitch a run for their money was a super far out concept. But now, sites like Kick, Rumble, and even YouTube seem to be becoming more preferable options. There's a lot of negative aspects of Twitch, but one topic of discussion that has come up quite frequently is Twitch's alleged preferential treatment of female content creators. You know, I can't really speak on this too heavily. Men and women are very similar, okay? More similar than people want to admit. But they are different in certain aspects too. Like, they act differently in a lot of ways, and more specifically, they are treated differently. Ultimately, like, I don't really care, you know? This is just kind of how the world works. And I've always felt like there were so much more bigger issues, like their standard 50-50 split on revenue, their excessive terms of service policies, as well as the existence of Twitch thoughts. I don't really know what else you're supposed to call these women, but like, let's just say it for what it is. These women, 99 out of 100 times, are sex workers. They have an Oni Plays account, and they work at Cornhub, and they film themselves shucking their clam and scarfing down hogs. And while Twitch is not a platform designed for adult sexual-oriented content, they still use the platform for that reason. And typically the content they're making is very sexual. Something I hate about this situation is people refuse to admit what it is. Like, people are not clipping Amaranth's stink wrinkles because it's funny, they're clipping it because they want to shoot ropes to it. People are not donating $5 to Alinity so she'll shake her ass for any other reason than the sensual reward it brings. Even if you somehow squeeze in some alternative context for why this exists, it wouldn't be convincing. But I don't even think you can do that. I don't think you can even attempt to pretend that this content is not anything other than softcore pornography. Like I said, all of these girls are doing Oni Plays content. It's not subtle at all. And debate frequently comes up about this subject, and recently it's come back up again. Morgpie is a female Twitch streamer as well as a creator on Cornhub. I first heard about Morgpie from the Super Mega drama where she pretended that she was used for sex by Matt Watson, and then Matt Watson very quickly and easily proved that this wasn't the case at all, and her response was, "Teehee. Oops." So I already think she's a stupid bitch. But this all started when a clip of Morgpie went viral of what appears to be her topless and oiled up. And whenever she got a donation, she would shake her oiled jugs. Now, look, I love boobies, okay? I love big old juggy wuggies, don't get me wrong. But this obviously shouldn't be allowed on Twitch. Sexually suggestive content is prohibited. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't know what context you can put stuff like this in unless it's a sexually suggestive context, right? For example, you may not want to engage in content or camera focus on breasts, buttocks, and pelvic region, including poses that deliberately highlight these elements. Now, I know the camera is not directly focused on her chest and her chest is not exposed, but the content is. The focus of the stream and what everyone is there for is for her chest. And to ignore that fact isn't just disingenuous. You're just a complete liar at that point if you don't agree with it. And there are multiple instances of female creators doing this, you know, so people started losing their shit. Now, what is the normal opinion to have on this? Well, this is wrong. This shouldn't be on Twitch. And Twitch shouldn't get away with sanitizing the fuck out of their website for the last 5+ years for the sake of advertiser friendliness and family friendliness on a platform that is 13+, and then put this on their platform with no issue. The fact that it's taken this long to do something about it is insane. If you're gonna sanitize your platform for younger audiences, then don't forget about the literal softcore corn on the platform. But of course, typically when female content creators are critiqued online, there will usually be a massive amount of people ignoring the reasonable takes like that and are hyper-focusing on the worst arguments. And typically the response to people who don't like this is that they're like fucking misogynists, or like, why do straight men hate women so much, or something like that. Look, don't get me wrong, there's probably a lot of misogyny involved in this discussion, right? You know, I would expect as much. But there is a real argument here. People who are commenting shit about, you know, fatherless behavior or whatever the fuck else clearly aren't interested in the discussion. I also saw a lot of people speculating like whether or not Morgpie is trans or not, and all I have to say is, you guys are super fucking gay. The fact that every time you guys see a woman and the first thing you think is like, oh, do they have a penis? You are gay. You are a gay person. Oh, but she has broad shoulders and a strong jawline. Yeah, it's almost like your perception of women is fucking diluted from your crippling porn addiction and terrible social skills. Anyways, surprisingly enough, Morgpie would actually be banned for this. for one day. Twitch should win an award for consistently making the worst decisions possible every single time. Like, you don't even have to ban her, right? Just make some kind of policy change that prohibits it. Or at the very least say, fuck it, we don't care. This rule doesn't make any sense and it's gonna stay that way. Just some transparency would be nice, you know? I don't need to like your decision, just make a decision that makes sense. Morgpie would actually give an interview with Dexerto or whatever the f this thing is called, where she would sip massive amounts of Coca-Cola and essentially try to pretend that she didn't break any rules at all.
You know, my ban, one of the reasons they listed was a lap dance. I'm the only one here, so I'm not really sure how I could have given anybody a lap dance.
No, Morgpie, they did not list one of the reasons for your ban as a lap dance. Typically, what social media companies do when they ban or restrict your account is they will give you a specific rule you broke and then list examples of what you could have potentially done to break that rule. I'm sure there was a list and lap dancing was one of the things on it, but that was not the reason you were banned. It was probably just listed as a possible reason.
I think, honestly, they are just cracking down on this new meta, and their toss is very open-ended, so they're not giving anyone, you know, nobody's breaking toss. Nobody is breaking the terms of service.
First off, her calling TOS toss just fucking, I don't know, that triggers the fuck out of me. I've never heard anyone do that. Anyways, she is breaking TOS. I've even showed it in the video. And to attempt to argue that her content was not sexually suggestive, like, I would genuinely like to hear a good argument of what other context there is where a woman is like oiling up her chest and shaking her tits on camera. Genuinely, I would love to know what the context is, right? I always try to be good faith and honestly look for other people's perspectives. I can't fathom her actually being serious about this, that she believes her content doesn't break TOS.
Me standing here like this, it's just shoulders. And by the way, I am wearing a shirt. I do wear a shirt and pants in all of the streams. So it's just the implied nudity that really freaks people out.
It's not just the implied nudity, it's the sexual intent of the content. You oiled up your chest and shook your for donations. The implied nudity certainly is an issue there, but it's not the only problem, and to act like it is f***ing insane. Now, I do want to say Morgpie was doing a charity stream from what I understand, which is nice, you know. I don't think it changes the problems I have with the stream. I just, you know, I feel like I should point that out so I don't look like I'm just trying to shit on her and not point out any positives. So yeah. Anyways, Twitch would eventually release an update to their TOS and holy f, this might be like the worst TOS update I have ever seen in my life. Not just on Twitch, like ever. Because how quickly this decision has blown up in Twitch's face is insane. Some of these changes include certain content now allowed with labels, such as artistic nudity, permitted under the sexual themes label, game nudity, contextual and labels are necessary, body painting, which is acceptable with the appropriate label. Mature games label generally covers content, and stream visibility will be impacted by content labels. Twitch has essentially taken the position that, yeah, softcore corn is okay on the platform. And since the change, there's been a lot of insane shit streamed on there. I can't show these clips, but, you know, for example, I saw these naked VTubers, I saw people drawing furries with massive wieners, and guess what? You're still allowed to shake your oiled boobies. Great. Now, this stuff is hidden behind an 18+ label that restricts discoverability, and I'd assume that accounts that are under 18 can't access them, which is great because no one lies about their age on the internet. But this feels like a band-aid over a bullet wound. I feel like the issue of potentially showing this stuff to minors is a big one. It's the most important issue, right? But not only is this problem not really solved, there's another issue of Twitch evolving into something that it shouldn't be. How can you possibly take your website down with more restrictions and tighter rules and an emphasis on being cleaner, but then take the complete opposite position on nudity and literal softcore corn? I think there are contexts where nudity should be allowed on Twitch. For example, if a situation like the I Show Speed thing happened, your wiener flies out on accident or whatever, I don't think you should get banned for that. If there's nudity or sex in a video game, I don't think you should get banned for that either. Like, I'm all for loosening up the rules on Twitch, don't get me wrong. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. And as a content creator, I feel like it's preferable that we deal with as few rules as possible. But I don't like the idea of Twitch looking at this meta, which clearly seeks to bend the rules, and makes policy changes that enable the rules to be broken even more. It's just confusing to me. I would not be surprised that by the time this video is uploaded, the rules are changed genuinely, because this is probably not what they had in mind at all. And if it is, holy fuck, This is bad. Something else that really bothers me about the situation is how hard big streamers went in on the gambling streaming thing on Twitch. They said it was predatory and that kids shouldn't be exposed to it, and how putting restrictions on it isn't enough. Twitch banned gambling on their platform. I think they still have non-betting gambling games on there, but that's aside from the point. I understand that gambling addiction is bad and we shouldn't be exposing kids to that, but we shouldn't be exposing sexually suggestive content to them either. I just don't understand why some people were so passionate about the gambling thing, but have nothing to say about this. It's almost like the gambling thing was just a massive virtue signal. In my opinion, we probably shouldn't be showing either of these things to impressionable people under the age of 18. But let me know what you guys think about it. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Also, my main channel, I'm gonna be uploading on there soon, I promise. Hopefully before the end of the year. Anyways, that's all I really have to say on this. Thanks for watching, and take care, guys.